people need
Would
to
you,
be
would you
free.
repeat that, the answer?
Yeah. I'm saying that the market needs to set everything. You can't artificially set prices. We know from even recent history that price controls fail. Similarly, wage controls fail, and just about anything else that the government tries to do to fix the economy will actually hinder the market's ability to self-repair. One of the most important things is the way that we set interest rates. The Federal Reserve sets the interest rates artificially, and it's supposed to be based on people's preference for saving money. You save more money, you put it in the bank, and then the interest rates, because the bank is easier for them to get the money, interest rates go down. When people don't save as much, interest rates go up because the banks have to pay more interest to get people to invest in them.
What happens though here? I'm sorry, Dave.
No, please.
What happens here, for example, though, when Americans traditionally they just don't save? What happens? How's the market going to control that?
Well, if in a real free market, people do save,
but we don't.
We don't because we haven't had a free market for over 100 years. The Federal Reserve has been setting interest rates since 1913, and that causes businesses to see this false signal. They say, oh, well, money is cheap, so I'm going to borrow money. And then all the businesses en masse, they go out and they expand their factory, they hire more workers, and then when those goods get to market, people don't have the savings to actually buy those goods.
Well, actually, interest rates are at the lowest that they've ever been. And banks are, banks supposedly have a lot of money, but banks then themselves don't want to lend the money.
Right.
So there's no money to borrow. That's the market.
Right. So a lot of these
So what
things,
happens in that situation?
A lot of these things are a direct result of government interference.
Okay, but what interference is there?
Well, so first of all, they're setting the interest rates artificially low, lower than what they should be. So that causes the.
Do you think interest rates right now in this economy should be higher?
I think they should. I can't tell you what they should be. Nobody can tell you. It's an impossible question. The only way to know what it should be is to let the market set the interest rates.
How are you as a libertarian? And I can't say that I disagree with a lot of libertarian ideas. Mm-hmm. I do belong to a party affiliation, but that really means nothing to me at this point. The point is, how are you as a libertarian going to, let's say, convince your colleagues on the other sides to follow your model and make some meaningful changes other than trying to become, and I don't mean this in a bad way, a firebrand trying to espouse libertarian ideas that no one else will go along with?
Well, I mean, honestly, I think a lot of Republicans kind of have the same ideas. Most of them will point to, different economists, but they generally understand that laissez-faire free market is the way to go. I just have to go up there and remind them that that's what we need to be doing, instead of letting the government interfere with everything. The free market really does self-correct. So,
Is that the same thing that the Tea Party says?
Essentially, but I'm not convinced that they believe all of it yet. So, they need to understand that corporations are not as innocent as they think, and I always tell the occupiers that they need to understand that the government is not as innocent as they think as well.
Mr. Richter, a question about if you're elected as a legislator, you will have one constitutional responsibility, and that is to come out with a balanced budget every single year in your 60-day session.
Yeah.
Now, the other practical considerations is that you have a leadership structure that currently is a supermajority Republican leadership structure.
Sure.
You'll have a Southwest Florida delegation that it's principally made up, will probably still be made up of mostly Republicans. How do you see yourself fitting into that and exercising your duties or executing your duties effectively as a legislator?
Well, I believe that libertarians and Republicans can get along very well as long as the Republicans are reminded what their party platform is. I don't think that the Libertarian Party would exist if the Republicans did what they said they were going to do. So I can get out there and I can get on the microphone and speak to them every day and remind them what they're supposed to be doing. And I think that's going to do wonders for the state. and just bring them new ideas, things that they might not have thought of. You know, you asked me what my top goals were. You know, the economics and bringing jobs back is one of them. The other one is improving our school system. I mean, we've got an incredible mess here. I don't think that we could have a worse education system if the Soviets designed it. We have very, very little competition. And we know that competition makes everything better. The more competition there is, the service, the quality improves, and the prices go down. And you know, we're paying a lot for education, and we're not getting the results that we need. So you know, I think that we should have a free market for teachers, where the best teachers would be rewarded very, very well, because everybody would want them to teach their kids. And the worst teachers would be not in front of our kids anymore. And I think that would be the best thing. They might find something that they actually enjoy doing. I think if you enjoy teaching, you'll be a good teacher. If you don't enjoy it, then maybe they should find something else to do.
One of the priorities of Governor Scott that passed this last year session was on jobs and essentially lowering business taxes and also creating job incentives. How much should the government be involved in, let's say, giving $1 million of incentive money to businesses to relocate here, to expand, and what are your opinions about lowering job taxes?
I generally would vote for any kind of a decrease in taxes. But when you say, oh, only this company gets a tax cut, I don't think that's right either, because then you're picking winners and losers. Just like we say that the Democrats want to do. You know, the government shouldn't be picking winners and losers. The government should just get out of the way, instead of focusing on bribing companies to come here. Create an environment where they want to come here. Get rid of these regulations. I mean, every business owner I talk to, they just tell me how the regulations are strangling them. They can't do business, and that's just the people that are already established in business. Then you've got all the people that maybe they've lost their jobs and they want to start up a business, but in order to run a business, you have to kind of have an idea that you're going to make money. You have to be able to have some confidence in predicting the future. So you need to know what your tax rates are going to be. You need to know what kind of regulations are going to be. All these businesses, they say, well, I can't do this service anymore because the state's requiring that I get licensed for it, and that means I have to send one of my employees to school for 2 years, and it's going to cost me $30,000, and it's just not worth it. All this trouble that they have to go through just to comply with the regulations, just from the state, not even to mention from federal regulations. And there's no business, and there's no individual in their right mind that would start up a business right now. It's just it's a toxic environment, and the way to fix that is not by giving special incentives to big corporations to come here. The way to fix that is to get government out of the way and get rid of these regulations. The market is a far better regulator than anything the government could ever do. You saw all the outrage with the pink slime. How fast did those companies go out of business? I mean, I feel bad for the employees that lost their jobs, but they went out. I mean, the market drove those pink slime companies out of business very, very quickly in a matter of weeks, and that just shows that when businesses are being responsible to their consumers, they will be good for the economy, and when they're not, they're going to go out of business very quickly.